boat was beautiful. I really liked this boat a lot. One of the best notes on the boat for me was the twin companionways. The boat raced to Bermuda twice. I would own that boat. Hi there, this is Captain Q and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one.
Captain, here we are.
We are having another lucky day here.
Why's that?
This is really an interesting boat on a whole new level. It looks sort of ordinary as you sit there shooting it, but she certainly is not. This boat was designed by our old friend Chuck Paine.
Oh, nice.
And she was launched around 1985. This boat, Chuck designed to be as comfortable as possible, as strong as possible, and as seaworthy. And he designed it with Andrew Vavalotis' request to give him a hull shape that he could then turn out a really high-end boat. We've seen the Pearson lines, and they're great boats, terrific boats. And they were designed by
Bill Shaw.
Exactly. And Bill did a great job. And then Bill came out with a boat that was the Pearson 385. The 385, which is a terrific boat, is very much like a Honda Civic, which is a terrific car. And comparing it to this boat, which is sort of like, well, kind of comparing it to, if you will, look how deep this is. Chuck Paine built wholesome designs. His hulls were full body, didn't try to skim it out or cut it away anymore. He really would argue that too, that this is much the same hull lines and so forth that he used on some of his other boats, the Apogee or the Bowmans. Here we go with our full standard, I'm going to call it standard, Chuck Paine sort of bilge. There's a little bit of a hollow up here in the bows too, I'm seeing, and I think that's an interesting point. He didn't carry these bilges full all the way right to the bow. This is a little hollow down there. Do you see that, Randy?
Yeah.
Is that short? It's very subtle. And
that makes sense because he was a big fan of Harris.
He was a very big fan of the Harris. As a matter of fact, he's even created now in his dotage, shall we say, small, I won't call them spin-outs, but similar vessels too, like the 12.5 or the Haven. And he's got his own designs, which are really pretty. They're beautifully made. Back to his bilge, she comes out very nicely back here. You see, it almost flattens out, but it's not a big sweep up. So she should be a good runner off wind. We have a skeg hung rudder, and here's the gudgeon down here for it. This is a massive piece of glass and woodwork in here, just brutal. We have a max prop, again, that will turn flat and allow the water to just slip by it and not encumber it. A regular fixed prop, boom, water be hitting it, water be hitting it, water be hitting it. Pretty fresh as ink. That'll go maybe another season, but since it's so easy, it's kind of loose, I'd take it out. You know what this really is? It just looks like a slab of metal, and it's used as a ground for lightning protection, for electrical grounds and so forth. But you know what that really is? It's actually a cluster, a matrix of bronze balls, little tiny bronze balls, all mushed together in there. And what that does, it gives the equivalent surface area of a copper sheet 12 feet by 12 feet. It just happens that so that we have 3 keels here to look at for a minute. Now, over to our left, the red hull here, you will see, and some of you may well remember, the Islander 37 that we shot down in Mystic. There's an external lead keel, a fin from back, when was that, 1970s. It was the designer's concept to have as little wetted surface as possible, and that was a racing boat. Then we come to this period, about 10 years later, and look what Chuck has done with his keel here. He's extended it, he's lengthened the whole keel, and given you more lateral plane there for stability. And still, but it's long enough to give you enough surface to really track nicely. I'm sure somebody out there will tell me right away what this boat is. It's a little bigger than our 40-footer that we're looking at today, but look at this. Look at the keel on here. It really is almost embarrassing. And I don't mean to be cruel, but they just wanted to get the lead and the ballast down as low as possible for a boat this size. This may be a 50-foot boat here. So they wanted to get the ballast down as low as possible, but they also did something which is sort of unusual. There's a big lump toward the top of the keel too. And the only thing I can think of there is it gave it more surface to mate this enormous piece of lead with the bilges on this boat so that it wouldn't fall off. So I'm going to ask the cast and crew of viewers out there, you're out in a really heavy sea offshore and it's blowing like crazy. What do? You heave to, right? And I want to know which boat everybody thinks might heave to the most comfortably. Huh? Let's take a look at the rest of this boat. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go up top.
Okay, thought you'd never ask. We love the subscribers.
Yeah, more subscribers means that we're going to get recommended to more people, and so that helps spread the love and spread the word about old classic boats and what we're doing, so every little bit helps.
Thanks again.
Captain, come on up.
I wasn't supposed to call you.
Well, you were a little slow.
Okay, here I come. Okay. Now what do I do? Now I'm coming down here.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Oh boy, wow. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Oh, I'm looking at this cockpit. You know what the first thing that reaches me right now?
What's that?
The height of the cockpit combing.
Oh, yeah.
The Pearson was about here. Now, 3 or 4 inches doesn't seem like a lot. This is now catching me just behind my wing, so to speak. And it's really comfortable. Look at the size of these Lumar 55s right here. Giant winches. These are going to these are way oversized. And behind me, I don't know what these are. Let's see. We've got 34s or something.
So we had a couple questions. What a self-tailing winch is, and what's good about it?
Well, self-tailing means that normally it would take 2 people to crank a line in. One person to crank the winch and the other person to pull on the line. In this case, and I'm going to just substitute this for a Genoa sheet over here, that's going to come from aft someplace, and you're going to wrap it around this winch like so, and you'll pull on that as best you can till it gets too hard to pull any further. Then at that point, take one more wrap usually, and then put it up in the jaws and snap that tight. That's now locked in up there. You can let go of this line, and now you can crank this winch with a handle up here, and you see it feeds itself right in and out, and it will pull it up from where it's coming from. You see how that works?
Yep.
So if you're the helmsman, you can just reach over here. Look how close I am right here, and just crank that in. So Randy, that's how easily you can control your sails, whether you're single-handing this boat or you've got a crew, whether it's a light family crew or your heavy-duty racing crew. Now, speaking of that, this particular boat has gone to Bermuda twice. It's gone Marion, Bermuda, and Newport, Bermuda. They run on every other year. Marion, Bermuda is really designed for family racing. Newport, Bermuda is pretty much flat out. It's kind of like, I don't know, Formula One racing almost. We have a teak cockpit sole here that they've left unvarnished.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you like it nude?
Yes, and I think you'll get a little better grip to it. We have a cockpit locker here, and this is very tidy. This boat was completely set up to do those 2 races to Bermuda that I mentioned, and that requires a certain level of preparation. We've seen this before in boats. We have places to anchor your life harness. There's an instrument here that's been put to sleep for the winter. A nice Ritchie compass here. Nice stainless binnacle in great shape, all polished up. And we have our throttle and our engine controls here on 2 separate levers on this Edson pedestal steering, which is beautifully covered with elk hide. Elk hide is...
Looks like fresh elk.
It does look like fresh elk. There's some in the fridge too, the rest are leftover. But this stuff will get wet, but it'll give you a nice grip to it. It's sort of slightly warm to your hand. I like the shape of the cockpit because you have this sort of U-shaped arrangement over here. If I was sitting back here, I would feel quite comfortable just with this little notch here. And I'm high enough out of the wake of the water, so if you do take on a little water over the rail, you're up here high and dry. The other side's a good long one. Now, also sitting back here, I can read the instruments on the Yanmar. And that Yanmar was replaced, it replaced the 4108 Westerbeek back in 1999, I'd say, somewhere around there. So we consider that relatively fresh. I think there might be 3,500 hours on the boat.
That's new.
Also, really nice Dodger here. This is wide open, the isinglass forward there. It's like nothing is there at all. And you have zippered windows that will come out. These will zip down, and you can drop open this whole front panel can be rolled up and tied up with these ties. Would you like to take a look forward?
Yeah, let's go ahead forward.
We have a bow pulpit up here you'd like. The bow pulpit is anchored down into this nice piece of teak, which needs a little bit of varnish. So how do you like those chocks?
I like them better than what I've got.
Yep, see, you can open them with that pin there.
Yep.
Actually missing a pin on this side, but you see how it would work on the other side. A low Franz capstan here with the cat below it to pull your chain up and to feed down to one of two chain lockers. There's a CQR, which I like over on that side, and a Bruce, which everybody else likes on the other side. Electric winch right up here. We've got the control button right there for it. I don't know what's on behind that cap there, but
that's your water tank, Phil.
Oh, it's a water tank fill. And there's a deck wash further forward there. For a storm jib, I think they've got an extra shroud that'll come down and hang onto this. I'm also sitting here with my hips up against this bulwarks here. You're in this boat. You're not going anywhere. You got double lifelines, and these are high lifelines too. These are almost 30-inch lifelines. Nice two-tone deck here. There's a little crazing. You can see some places on the deck. Very little. Not worth bothering with particularly. There's a little bit of it right here. It just looks like there's nothing. I can barely catch my nail on it. On the top of the low Franz, it has a standard winch handle socket, and that's nice to have because every once in a while your battery goes dead and you don't have enough power to get that thing up there. All right, let's move a little further aft. Just notice the size of the hatch, the forward cabin hatch right there, giant 4 square feet there. So, and there's 3 back here. We have a nice Dorade vent with wind scoop here. Back at the mast here, we've got all self-tailing winches for your halyards. I'm seeing a couple of different spinnaker halyards here that are going to be set up for racing. This is something we've never seen before either. This is a double pole spinnaker car right here. The object of this is this will slide up and down, and it will have a hoist on the top of it that will allow you to raise or lower this. Here's the other stay, the head stay that we found the tang for up on the foredeck.
Yep.
And this is the piece that goes into it right here. Here's the pin down here. This goes into the little fitting on the deck. And this piece here is known as a high field lever. And you open it up and it has some slack to it, but then when you slam it shut, it tightens it right up and it gives you a good, sturdy, strong stay. And we've got another 4-part Schaefer block system here, Vang, with a snatch right here up at the mast. And let's head aft. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're back here looking at this, sort of a little after cockpit almost, just because it's sort of deep, and you've got nice a nice tow rail all the way around there. You could stretch out there and have a little nap while this boat sails along, couldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Now the post here that disappears up into the whiteness is supporting the radar, and we've got a couple more of those chocks that you like on either side there. And back here we're also looking at a fold-down ladder, and there's also a Mom 8A back there, which is a retrieval system. We have a little locker here for your propane. How clever is that?
Oh, very nice.
And this is all above deck, so it's interesting. There is no flange down there. Any propane that leaks out will leak out into the atmosphere. Okay, we've got a hydraulic backstay.
That looks very familiar.
It is very familiar. Sailtech hydraulic backstay, and that lever there, you just pump that back and forth until your backstay has the tension you want it, that's setting the right curvature to your mast. Okay, we're going to head below in a second, but before I leave the cockpit, I want to just notice an aft companionway and the forward companionway up here. And at sea, when things get a little rough, you're going to put your washboards in. So we have the equivalent of a bridge deck here. Follow me on down, okay?
Great, yeah.
Down below, you're going to like this a lot. This boat, I feel like I'm in Hinckley land. It's gorgeous. The gloss finish on all the woodwork down here is wonderful. First things first, I guess, what keeps the mast up? Well, here's a tie rod right here that goes from a chain plate up on deck and a stud up there, and it's going to come down, and it's going to come right down here through this, and look how it's anchored into this hull. Now that's for the upper shroud, and then here for your lowers, and notice the copper line coming in here. This is for lightning protection, and it's going to carry that ground right down to the keel, down to that plate that we saw on the butt end of the boat back there. Right here, here's our spar coming down, and we've seen this before in different versions. This is a tie down. This is pulling the deck down. So when the shrouds are tightened and it's trying to pull this mast up, right, this will pull from the deck down and keep it from moving. What a wonderful main saloon, though. I like the seating here. I like that these cushions are deep. These cushions come off. You're going to have a good sea berth. Great big galley table right here. This is lovely. And your whole crew, I mean, this is one of the bigger ones we've seen. We have a couple little fiddles here, right? Keep things, the odd stuff you put in there. And this I always love these. You just push down that end and pick it up on this end, and you have access to a liquor locker here. Again, good locker storage everywhere here at eye level. We've got these nice big heavy-duty glass bronze opening ports. These are done by Spartan Marine, which is a branch of this boat manufacturer. Now we have a grab rail right here, also known in some cases a drip rail. If you'd open these hatches, there's always a drip that's going to catch in here, and we'll probably run aft. Remember the B40, we could reach them both. We just barely do it here. An extra foot or so of beam makes a big difference of a room. One thing I read about in the specs that they had moved the batteries, I believe, from the engine room to the bilge area. Not my favorite place to put batteries, because if you get an excess of water in, some fitting lets go or whatever, and before you can find the leak, the batteries get flooded with seawater. What they've done, they put them down in the bilge, and this was for a rating certificate purposes. Let me just take a look at this other little hole here. And here we have, what do we have here?
Gusher bilge pump.
Yep. And we have a handle right here for it. And this, again, is very important to the rule.
Which rule is that?
Well, it's a rule that says that you must have a hand-operated bilge pump that can be used and activated with all the hatches closed. This also, I believe, is part of the sump for your shower, too. Nav station. Oh, nice height.
I thought you were going to like that one.
A nice cushion. Oh, gosh. We've got a full array of Ray Marine instrumentation here, and your radar, VHF with the AIS system. Oh, you got a CD player here. Remember those?
Nope.
Let's see what we've got in here. What do you think? Oh, oh, he gets a point, doesn't he? It's a great nav table, comfortable. We've got good headroom in here. What do we got? 6'3", 6'4" headroom in some places. Just look at the width of the insulation here. And is there anything down in there worth?
There's just some stuff there, yeah.
Okay, good. These have holding plates in them, which is what we had on PB2, and it worked really well. And I sometimes think maybe it's certainly competitive with some of the new electrical systems that go all the time. But to have the new electrical systems, you need solar panels everywhere. 3-burner stove, propane stove, and I know that's been cooked on, because you don't go to Bermuda without cooking on these things. Double sinks, pretty deep, near the center line. You got a foot pump down here for seawater, I'm sure, and then we have our ubiquitous pot and pan storage, but it also comes with, this is very clever, a little cutting board right on top here. This is nicely done. Look how these plates and dishes and everything are all locked into these lockers. How much food you need on a boat like this? Well, you always need the staple, of course. Why don't we take a look aft? I want to see what's going on in the aft cabin.
Yeah.
I just noticed something right here. What do you think this is?
Oh, that's your favorite little cover over a electrical.
Exactly. I've been asking for that for a year now, right? And if you're going to put it under the companionway, put a cover on it, for Pete's sake. Here's all your circuit breakers, your battery switches, the battery check and all that. Look at the battery switch. This is just massive, this big guest thing. With selectors, you can read these sitting here. There's no confusion. And it just makes life easy. There's no tricky little cute things. But here's a gem. This would be worth owning the boat for.
What do you got?
You ready?
Yeah.
Here it comes. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Look, it's still coming. It's still coming. Look at that.
Whoa.
Whoa. I mean, you can put stuff in there and it's not going to fall out, right?
I think you'd put a pillow in there and tell me it's a bunk.
Right beside me too, there's a locker which they're using for kind of cleaning gear. I don't know, but that might be useful for foul weather gear for most people. Okay, we're going back into the tunnel here.
Let's see it.
Follow me.
Yeah, what do you think the standing room is for this passageway?
The standing room is just
what?
just standing.
Ah.
I'm going to imagine this is water tank right here. So you've got a big clean out port,
Yeah.
and you can check how full it is too. Great little workshop. I think I'd like to be a little taller in here, or a little shorter.
Yeah,
or
who's going to work in your workshop? I think it's
You get the kids in here. Teach them young.
Santa's elves.
But I'm coming out into the owner's stateroom back here, and this is pretty deluxe, as they like to say. A little less room than some aft staterooms we've seen as far as move around room. It has two singles, one single, one double on the other side, that you can actually, sleep thwartships with. And that's one of the best arrangements for an after cabin in my book. Because look at that. Look at the size of it. See, I'm not going to pull it all up right now, but you're going to have access to all your steering gear, the quadrant, and so forth. Everything's accessible.
Uh-oh.
Every time I lift up one of these boards, Randy's sure we're going to find the spare head under there. There's a heating system on here somewhere, and I don't have the details on that, but here's a vent for it right here. Take a look at this. What do you notice? Where are you going to sit when you need to use the head?
Yeah, it's under here. Then it's forward and aft. Oh, wait. That's a bucket.
Yep.
Whoops.
Okay, what they've done with this boat is they removed the head to get it, cleaned up and organized and repaired, but they also use this head as a foul weather head.
Oh, okay.
Foul weather jacket.
And so people aren't going to be using that bucket?
So, well, you see a series of hooks there?
Yeah.
Yep, those are set up there to hang your wet foulies on.
Okay.
And that's the rationale for that. These are all varnished inside and out, and all finished inside. All the ceilings are all finished off beautifully. Now, a couple of things here. One of the nicest things I like about the boat is that we have, and I'm going to open this hatch, which we're right here at the helm, right? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Now, sleeping in this cabin, you're going to have air blowing through here on a nice mooring, even past the Dodger. You'll get a lot of air flowing through here. Plus, you're up 2 steps, 3 steps, and you're out to the helm. There's no sense of claustrophobia in here too, because some people say, "Gee, I gotta crawl back that narrow tunnel and do this thing." It's pretty nice. See if we can find the engine.
You do need Santa's helpers to get to this, though.
Yeah, let's see how we're gonna do this. How do you like that? We've got a big doorway here. Now, if we were working on this, both of these doors are on easy lift pins, so I can pick this whole panel up and take it out of the way.
Oh, that's pretty great.
It's a gorgeous 76 horsepower Yanmar, and look at all the lines led around the engine room here.
Looks pretty beefy. How many horse?
76. There's a water filter for an inline water filter right
Yep.
there. You see
Yep.
that? Your through hull valves down here.
That's nice and accessible, too, yeah. What do you got there? Twofer. Oh,
A
really?
twofer, yes.
Oh, on a 40-footer.
On a 40-footer. And I'm going to go right in here. I'll see you later.
All right.
Okay. Now, Andrew kind of goofed because he put this thing this way, and they could have easily put it the other way. But anyway, storage, a little shelf is for your toothpaste and your ditty bags and so on. And soap holder up here. Handheld shower. This would actually live right up in here, you see. So that would be a little better. And I can tell from here it's a nice mirror. It has its own skylight, hatch, and so forth. I'm going to go out the other one for here.
Yep.
Oh, and here we are on the forepeak. I've come out of the other head door here, so we have all the privacy we want of being in our own private cabin up here. A nice little bureau here for your socks and underwear and so forth, and your jewelry. A hanging locker. We don't have the pointy ends. We got the square ends up there, and that's pretty sweet, right?
Yep.
So should we check that?
I think you need to test it.
I'm going to borrow this for the pillow because you don't get me a really good pillow. But this is going to be really easy, I think. Oh, I just see it's not too high. I can sit in there, swing my legs in. Oh, easy peasy again, right? Whew. Oh, we got a chain locker up here, by the way. We have one opening port, another opening port, and a really large hatch overhead, which we have open right now. What a snooze.
All right. Good night.
Good night. This was a really interesting boat again for us. We know that it was built as on a competitive level with the Hinckleys and the Morris yachts. It was very similar to the Pearson 385 in design concept. The finish work was way above the Pearson. This boat was beautiful, and I really like this boat a lot. In this size range, 40 feet long, she felt much bigger. One of the best notes on the boat for me was the twin companionways. Plus the boat raced to Bermuda twice. There we go. Right there, 10. We know she floats, she races. I'm going to give her another 10 right off the bat because the boat is completely put together. And I'm going to give it one more 10 because I really like the boat. I would own that boat. I don't know what else to say about it. I would own that boat and enjoy it and live aboard it and maybe occasionally go knock around the buoys or take a high-speed run down to Halifax or Bermuda. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes a little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.